This place sucks. Don't come here.
Good day everyone and welcome back to Adventures with Parker. Today is day 3 of our trip and we are actually hitting up our 4th theme park this morning. We are at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey and today we are at Lake Compounce in Bristol, Connecticut. This is a smaller park. It's kind of situated by the lake and it's one of the Palace Entertainment Parks, so the same company that owns Kennywood in Pittsburgh, Adventureland in Iowa. There's 5 coasters and unfortunately Kitty coaster is down and Wildcat, one of their wooden coasters, is undergoing some maintenance, but we are excited because this park is home to Boulder Dash, one of the top rated wooden coasters around, so it should be fun. It's a very busy looking day today. It is Labor Day weekend and we got the skip the line for today, so hopefully that works in our favor. So yeah, we have 3 hours to kill. Let's get some credits, ride some rides. So any further ado, the Lake Compounce adventures. Are you ready to ride the boomerang?
So ready. Number 1.
I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for a boomerang. Tacomas are elite, the best manufacturer out there.
All right, our first coaster at Lake Compounce was the Zoomerang, a Tacoma boomerang. Of course, these things are on virtually every theme park out there, but this one was pretty good. I was expecting it to be kind of rough, and it really wasn't. It was actually decently smooth. And I mean, these rides are so intense. They're pretty fun overall. I don't mind them. There's a lot of paper boomerangs out there, but they're good rides in my opinion. Mind you, the operations were absolutely atrocious. It took like a good 5 minutes for us to load up that train and get going. So I really hope the rest of the rides aren't like that because that was so bad. Like, come on, Lake Compounce, what are you doing here?
Hi.
Hi, we have the Tacoma expert here.
Yeah, like I mean, I thought it was a good boomerang. I still think the Bat's my favorite boomerang overall.
Fair
Disappointing it wasn't as rough as LaRon's. So LaRon's still has a better boomerang than them. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst boomerang I've done. I think it's better than the one at Darien Lake. I think it's one of the lower tier ones still, but it was still good. Boomerangs are fun. I think they're underrated.
Indeed.
Bad. Well, operations are worse, but bad. That's all I have to say.
Okay, it's closed, and I don't think we're eating at this park anyways, but I had to point out this sign because it is absolutely adorable. Look at that little dino about to chomp into some grilled cheese. Love that. Alrighty, we just did Phobia Ferry Coaster, which is a Park's premier Skyrocket 2. Now I've done one of these before. I've done Tigris at Busch Gardens, Tampa. But this one was cool because it didn't use comfort colors. You literally just had a lap bar. So when you went through and had those hang time moments, you really felt that. It was kind of crazy. And I mean, you got some nice pops of airtime this way. And yeah, I definitely prefer it without the comfort colors. It is such a fun ride. Burke, this is your first time doing a Skyrocket 2. What'd you think?
Yeah, that was really good. I haven't been to a park that had one yet, so this was my very first one, and that was awesome. I always want to try one of these. I've heard really good things, and yeah, anytime we went to the launch was great. We got a back row ride, and yeah, for that I finally got the ride experience one, and this one was really good. I can't wait to try more in the future.
Love it. It's gonna go.
Oh my god, those things are so much fun. And like that is my first one. I like the lap down this first time.
Okay, we just did Ghost Hunt, the park's Boo Blaster style Sally Dark ride. It was so good. It was everything that I would want a Boo Blaster to be. Had a very catchy tune all the way through. All the effects were working. There was kind of like some modern effects. If you've ever been on a Boo Blaster ride, like they're kind of from the early 2000s, and you can tell on a lot of them. This one looks like it's a little newer, it's updated. The guns, I love how there's like a guiding light so you know exactly where you're shooting. This is my new favorite Boo Blaster style ride. Mitch, what'd you think?
It was so good.
Right?
And I love how every time you hit something happened. Like the bomb room was so
Yeah.
good. What'd you guys' score?
94,143.
I think mine was like 1,000 and something.
160,000.
Oh, look
I
at
don't-
you go.
I don't ride these that much, but like I've done the one at Wonderland, and that's way better than Blue Blaster.
Oh, that's like a light.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Blasters seem like all burned out in that now. It's just like, not as good as it used
Blue
to be.
Blaster's terrible, yeah.
And now that song is going to be stuck in my head all day too.
Now
Yeah,
it's
it
Boulder
was
Dash.
catchy. It was really catchy.
It was good.
Oh, Boulder Dash next.
Boulder Dash.
All right, let's go. Okay, we're just talking about how much we love how Wildcat is situated in the middle of the park. Like the main path kind of loops around it. And it looks like a good classic coaster. It sucks that it's closed for the rest of the season, but I know this would be right up my alley. I love these kind of old school wooden coasters. But you know what? We are heading to an elite wooden coaster with Boulder Dash. I've heard so many amazing things about this coaster. It's been ranked pretty highly by like the Golden Tickets Awards and whatnot. And it's kind of hard to see because it's all tucked back in the forest. It's up on the hill. It's gonna interact with the terrain. I'm a big fan of rides like the Beast and the Boss and, you know, Mystic Timber. So I think this one's gonna be right up my alley. Okay, so we just did our first ride on Boulder Dash, and I was not ready for that. Okay, so the first stop has some Titan track, so it's butter smooth, which I mean, I've expressed my opinions on Titan track before. I don't like it. I think it's too smooth, but it kind of set me up with this false sense of security as the rest of the ride was so crazy. Like, it was a rough one. It was a little painful. My back is not the happiest at the moment. Still a good ride. I love how it interacts with the terrain. It goes up on the hillside there. I don't know. That was an experience. I just don't know what to think of it, to be honest, at this point. It's just, it was great, but it was awful at the same time.
Wow, I was not expecting that. That was a rough coaster. That was great. When I watched the layout of this thing, it reminds me of Beast type layout. That's what everything I want the Beast to be. Airtime, rough, intensity. I freaking loved it. That's an elite Woody.
Why are you looking at me?
Mitch, thoughts?
Bad. Too smooth, then too rough. Bad.
No in between.
No in between. Bad. Beast is better than this.
Oh!
Yes, it is. Beast is better than this. This is
Well, we were friends with Burke.
15 minutes later.
So ride number 2 on Boulder Dash. We sat towards the front this time, and it's still bad. It is so rough. And like, it's so smooth on that first stop, and so, like, I hate it. I love it, and I hate it, and no, I don't love it at all. I don't know. It's confusing. I want to love it. That's the thing. I would love to love this ride, but I can't. I can't.
How do you not like this ride? Like, this thing is so
This is bad.
It's great. It's better than most wooden coasters I've been on. It's better than Ghost Rider.
Okay, it is worth it for the views.
No,
it's worth it.
I'm gonna run before you. Bye.
See ya. No, it is worth it for the views because going up the hill, it's really nice and scenic. It's kind of like an alpine coaster. I kind of like that. And going by the lake, if you can manage to keep your head still enough, there is a view to enjoy. But I need a break now. I can't keep going with that. I wish I could love it. It needs to be RMC. That's what needs to happen. We were just talking about this. It either needs to be retracked completely, like give it the Ghost Rider treatment, or like RMC needs to come in and fix it up. And it's not even that old. The rider's only built in 2001, so it should not be this rough. So I don't know what's going on here, but it has potential. The layout is great. It needs help. This park also has a water park, and a decent sized one too, right by the lake. This is the kiddie splash area, obviously, but I could see a few slides. Like I know they have a big wave slide right by the lake. They have that lighthouse looking one with a slide twisting through it. Might even be the only good part of this park.
I think so. And Phobia Phear coaster.
And Phobia Phear coaster.
70 ups. Horrible ups. The coaster itself.
The coaster itself. Yeah, Phobia Phear is the #1 for me here.
Oh, it's absolutely the best ride here by a long shot. It takes me just from Holiday Park. Holiday Park is better than this park.
Yeah.
This Main Street's really cute.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with this.
So being that Lake Compounce is a palace park, they do have the potato patch fries here, which originally came from Kennywood. I mean, people rave about these. They just look like fries to me. I could be wrong, but there's potato. Yeah.
It's sustenance. It's a shitty fry. Remember, if Canadians, you know Swiss Chalet? Think of those fries, but worse. Like imagine if the Swiss Chalet fries were left out for a long time and were kind of soggy. That's what these are. But it's the only thing vegan in the park, so it's sustenance. This place sucks. Don't come here.
So, Flavour is a thing. These fries seem to have forgotten that.
It's so bad.
They're so plain. Like they need salt. I mean, I have dipping sauces here. They redeem it a little bit. It's like Swiss Chalet with the dipping sauce. That's the only thing.
Swiss Chalet.
These are bad. Yeah. So we added a lot of salt. And I added a bit of malt vinegar, and these are now edible. Not great, but edible. Oh, this is cool. So the other side of Ghost Hunt is an arcade. And they have a Dunkin's, but it still has that Haunted Mansion look. That's so cool. Oh my God, what is that?
I am Lucifer, Lord of Bleakstone Manor, and this is the most delightfully haunted house in the entire world. Of course, we had to drive people out. Oh, what fun that was! The lady of the manor was very upset. She even called in the famous ghost hunter, Professor Phear struck. But the professor and his seeing boom blasters will never win this battle. Neither will you.
Plunge. That's the park's log flume. It's pretty good. I actually really like that. You can never go wrong with a classic log flume ride. And this one made good use of that hillside. I mean, it only had one drop. You went up to the top, you did a little sneak around on the top of the hill there, went through the forest, which was all nice. And then you had that one big drop down the hill. Super fun. And yeah, like I said, you can't go wrong with the classic log flume ride. With 3 minutes to go before the park closes for the night, I'm heading over to Boulder Dash for one final ride of the night against my better judgment. But you know what? I came all the way here. It is the star attraction. I might as well give it one more ride, especially at night. A night ride is a must-do, no matter how rough and painful and regrettable it is.
Heart rush, head flush. It's like jumping into the lake at night. Is my love too much? 'Cause I feel like it's eating me alive. Do you feel
Alright, so the park is now closed and we decided to hop into the regular line for Boulder Dash to get a night ride. And I'm actually so excited. As much as I didn't like my first couple rides earlier today, I think a night ride could redeem it.
Yeah, like I when I was marathoning this with my fast pass, I was thinking about this whole entire time. It's like, this line's long. It's one train up. And the park closes at 8, but I was thinking about, can we get a night ride on this thing if we go on the regular line? Because like I saw it getting dark, I'm just like, okay, I think it's worth a try to see if we get a night ride on this thing. And it seems like it's working.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the way that this ride, like, interacts with the hill and goes through the forest, like, it's very reminiscent of the Beast. And the Beast, like, you know, obviously those are very hype night rides because of how dark it is and how, like, just out in the boonies you are, and I feel like this is gonna be the same vibe. So, this might be my Boulder Dash redemption. I mean, you don't need a redemption, you love it already, but I think this might be exactly what I need to end off the day.
as the moon is rising, I will keep on finding you. I will keep on finding you.
And there it goes, up the hill, and into the darkness.
I will keep on finding you.
Okay, there's some live fireworks going off in the distance, but we can't see them. But we just did 2 back-to-back night rides on Boulder Dash.
Oh my god, that thing is so
It
good.
is crazy. Okay, I rescind everything I said earlier in this vlog. I actually, getting those night rides on Boulder Dash was the redemption I needed. It is actually one of the best night rides ever. It's actually so good.
It's one of the best damn night rides out there. That thing is airtime. It's so dark. That is better than Beast night rides.
Oh my god, yes!
That's way better than Beast night rides. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think I learned how to ride it too. Like, I found it also smoother if you sit in the front of the car compared to the back, but it was just such a great ride. And the other thing is, you know, we waited in line. We made sure we got last ride. But then one of the ride-offs noticed Burke's Waldemir shirt here. And
he's an enthusiast, you can tell. He just asked, have you got a night ride on this before? I was like, no, we're from Canada, so we did not get a night ride on this before. And then we got the night ride. He was telling us about them. We come back and he said, hey, pretend go for the 8th and you can come on again. So we got the employee night ride.
Yeah, like we got to ride with all the ride-offs and everything.
And he let us ride with the ride-off. So we got another last ride with the employees.
Like 2 in a row.
So if you watch this, and thank you,
thank you so much,
Lake Compounce Ride-Off, for letting us do that with you, because you didn't have to do that. That was awesome. Really, we appreciate that.
It was the perfect way to come out the night.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't have asked for a better finale to today.
Like, we love your park.
Well, love is a bit of a strong word, because quite frankly, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, this was unfortunately the worst experience I've ever had at a theme park. I'm so sorry, but it's my truth. But let's break that down. First of all, Lake Compounce isn't a big park. There's only 5 roller coasters here, and right off the bat, we were down 2. The kiddie coaster wasn't running, and Wildcat was undergoing some extensive retracking work. Now, from what I've heard, Wildcat used to be a super rough coaster, so maybe we dodged a bullet there, but Gravity Group has been working on it, and I haven't really heard any updated reports about it. But I do know Gravity Group does some good work, so I'm actually curious to see if that ride is any better than it used to be. If you've experienced the old version and the new version of Wildcat, comment down below. It's maybe the one thing that might bring me back to this park. But yeah, we were down to 3 coasters, which isn't a lot, and 2 of those rides were clones, the Boomerang and the Skyrocket 2. Those are rides that you can find at other parks, which only leaves one ride to act as your marquee attraction, and that's Boulder Dash. So then when we get to Lake Compounce and we're thinking that Boulder Dash is going to be this big star attraction based on all of the stories that we've heard about it, and it just ends up being the biggest disappointment ever. Mind you, as you just saw, the night ride did redeem it for me. I don't know what happened. It's like this magic switch went off that turned me from being a hater to a fan, but those daytime rides were just awful. And yeah, other than that, there's really not much to this park that makes it stand out. There's a lot of flat rides that you can find virtually at any other theme park. They used to have this really cool train going by the lake, but that was since removed. And then I would argue that this park has a beautiful setting, and I loved how certain rides like Boulder Dash and the log flume interacted with the mountain. But other than that, it's just not a standout park. Now, the thing that really bogged down this park for us was the operations. Now, when you talk about operations at the theme park, there's kind of two things you gotta consider, and unfortunately, this park bombed in both of those categories. For starters, every roller coaster was running on one train ops. Now, two of those were shuttle coasters like Zoomerang and Phobia Phear coaster. They can't operate with more than one train, so they don't really count. But for Boulder Dash, what's supposed to be their star attraction on Labor Day weekend to only be running one train really hinders the amount of guest throughput you can get on that ride. Now, when you're talking about one train ops, you gotta give a little bit of grace because oftentimes it's usually for reasons such as maintenance or budget reasons, and whether you agree or not with the latter, I understand where they're coming from, so I can provide a bit of grace there. But the other component to operations is dispatch time, and this is something that comes down to how efficiently the ride ops can load up the trains, check the restraints, and get it out of the station. And unfortunately, every single ride we went to, whether it was a coaster or a flat ride or ghost hunt, just had the longest load times I've ever seen. And again, you gotta give a little bit of grace because these are minimum wage workers working out in the sun with maybe not the best customers in the world. So I don't place the blame directly on the ride operators, but this is something that the park can control for with proper training and incentives and good leadership. And I mean, we had to skip the line pass, so we should have been able to walk on all of these rides here, and yet for a lot of them, we still had to wait 5-10 minutes before we actually got onto the ride. In addition to this, we encountered a few staff members that just came off as kind of rude, and I'm not expecting Disney level service at all of these little theme parks. Again, these are minimum wage workers. I get it. I can provide so much grace for our theme park employees, but there is a certain level of customer service and attitude that's expected, so we just didn't get that in all areas of the park. That said, huge shout out to the Boulder Dash crew because they were always on top of things. They were fantastic, and that's especially true for our night rides. I still can't believe that we got to do that second ride with the ride ops. That was unbelievable, and we are so grateful for having the opportunity to do that, and that really did allow us to end the night on a high note to what was an otherwise disappointing day. So thank you for going above and beyond in that sense, and for allowing us to end off the visit in a good way. The last area I want to address is food, and there weren't a lot of options to begin with, and this was even more restricted for my friend Mitch, who is a vegan, and I mean, theme parks aren't great at providing vegan options at the best of times, but man, were those potato patch fries god awful. I don't get why people rave about these. I mean, maybe the ones at Kennywood are better than the ones here at Lake Compounce. If you have any insight on that, please comment down below because I do not understand why these things receive so much praise. But yeah, going back to the whole vegan debacle, Mitch ended up having to leave the park, and he drove like 20 or 30 minutes to the next town over, and he found a good vegan restaurant there. So he ended up having a good evening to himself outside of the park while Burke and I were getting our night rides. But in general, this park needs more food options and better tasting food options. So yeah, I don't like to leave my reviews on a negative note, but unfortunately, this park was a disappointment. Now, would I consider giving this park a second chance? Of course. I will always go back to a park after a certain amount of time, and I can see the bones for this park. I can imagine this park being really charming and really cute. It just needs some work. So once that happens, I'll be back, especially for Wildcat. I do want to experience that now that all that track work has been done. So maybe one day I'll be able to experience a redemption visit, but it's not at the top of my priorities at the moment. Coming up, Mitch, Burke, and I continue our Northeast Coaster road trip with Six Flags New England. And after that, we finish off the trip with Six Flags Great Escape. If you don't want to miss those videos or any of my other adventures from theme parks, attractions, and beyond, you might want to consider becoming a subscriber. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter at ADVParker, and on Facebook and TikTok at Adventures with Parker. As always, big shout out to my patrons for always going above and beyond and supporting this channel, and if you would like to do the same for as little as a $2 a month in exchange for some sweet perks and bonus content, you can head on over to patreon.com/ADVParker to learn more. Also be sure to check out my merch shop, Adventure Outpost, to find t-shirts, mugs, hats, bags, aprons, fanny packs, all of the above, featuring designs inspired by my adventures. Again, that's Adventure Outpost, which you can find at awpmerch.myspreadshop.com. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, the adventures are calling. Bye!